Hey guys, Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Hope you all are fine. My name is Rimsha Azhar and welcome to my YouTube channel. Guys, as you can see, today our topic is based on the famous poem Ode to Nightingale, which is written by John Keats. In this video, we will cover several topics include introduction of the era in which the writer John Keats wrote this famous poem, and then we will talk about the salient features of era, which is romantic age, romanticism, and then we will talk about the salient features of writer who is John Keats, and then we will discuss about the famous works of writer. Then we will talk about the central idea of the poem. Then we conclude our topic. First, let's start with the introduction of poem. Basically, the poem Ode to Nightingale is written by John Keats. This is one of the greatest romantic poem and perhaps Keats' finest ode, which was supposedly written under the plum tree in the garden of Keats' house. This poem belongs to romantic period. Basically, John Keats is an English poet, English romantic poet, and he was prominent in second generation with Byron and P.B. Shelley. So, in the introduction of romantic period is that it holds a very significant place in the history of English literature. It started from 1798 and lasts from 1832. It is basically a movement started with the publication of lyrical ballads in 1798. In collaboration with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, William Wordsworth published this book. The tenets of Romanticism revived with the notable publications. So this period is also known as revival of Romanticisms. Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley, and John Keats followed the style of Wordsworth and Coleridge. The poetry of Romantic revival is a revolt against the poetry of classical age of Pope. This literary doctrine has its origin in Elizabethan age. Salient features of Romantic age. The Romanticism is a doctrine which holds that art and art literature should be free from classical and new classical rules and constraints. There are many salient features and characteristics of Romanticism. First of all, they are highly imagination, love for nature, primitivism or spontaneity, interest in the remote or love for the past, simplicity in expression, revolutionary zeal, individualism, supernaturalism, subjectivity, medievalism, love for freedom and liberty, and predominance of lyricism. Basically, romantic poetry is fanciful and introspective. It is often marked by extravagance. The romantics are highly imaginative. They do not think that the writer should be earthbound, realistic, and factual. They seek an ideal condition for human beings in their highly soaring and ultimate imagination. The poetry of Wordsworth and Keats is full of imagination. In Tintern Abbey, Wordsworth imagined that a hermit alone in the forest is cooking something, whereas he only discerns the smoke coming from its recoiling. Keats flies to the fanciful world of the nightingale in his most beautiful poem, Ode to Nightingale. Moreover, both the poets are great lovers of nature. All romantic literature is subjective. It is an expression of inner urges of the artist. The poet does not care for the rules and regulations, but he gives free expression to his emotion. Emphasis is laid on inspiration and institution rather than on the observance of set rules. The poet writes according to his own fancy. Romantic poetry is often pessimistic in tone. A romantic may revolt against the existing conditions. He may have a special love the medieval world or the Middle Ages. His fascination for the remote and distant is unmistakable in his poetry. He wants to be delighted for color, pomp, and magic of the past. He would like to escape from the sordid realities the present. He may try to escape into an imaginative world of his own creation. Often he escapes into the past. Keats is a glaring example of it. He is often charged with his escapism. He wants to avoid the harsh realities of the real world and would like to fly to the fanciful world of the nightingale. At last, we can say that romanticism in English poetry has become a new sensation. Wordsworth, Coleridge, Lord Byron, P.B. Shelley, and John Keats are the heroes of that sensation and thrill. Their poetry enjoys almost all the salient features of Romanticism. Wordsworth makes natural objects supernatural and Coleridge makes supernatural objects natural. Byron and Shelley are two greatest revolutionaries. Keats is the last romantic poet in the Romantic movement. His poetry begins with the sensuous but ends in thought. He is a successful writer of ode. He does not write to make believable unbelievable or unbelievable believable. But Wordsworth has represented believable objects unbelievable. Now, salient features of the writer John Keats. Keats was the last born and first to die. But quite surprisingly, he achieved in 26 years what others could not get over the whole of their life. Keats is also said to be the most romantic of all the romantics. He was greatly inspired by the Greek art, culture, and mythology. He was also inspired by the Elizabethan poets, especially Spenser. Keats is a pure romantic poet. He writes poetry for the sake of poetry. He believes in art for art's sake. He does not write poetry for any palpable design or any propaganda. His major concern is to give pleasure. It means that his chief concern is pleasure. And the third is love for nature is the chief characteristics of all the romantics. Keats also loved nature, but he loves nature for the sake of nature. He does not give any theory or ideology about nature. He only admires the beauty of nature. Keats was a pure poet as he does not project any theory in his poetry. Keats believed in negative capability, the capability of being impersonal. Keats does not involve his personal feelings in his poetry. He writes poetry only for pleasure, but Shelley lacks negative capability. Shelley lends his personal sorrow and feeling in his poetry. He could not be impersonal and writes about his feelings and sorrows. Keats is a sensuous poet. It means that he writes his poetry with his pentasenses. We not only enjoy his poetry, rather we can taste, touch, see and hear all the ideas presented in his poetry. We enjoy his poetry with all other our pentasense. The whole of our body is involved in his poetry when we read him. Keats' imagery is static and concrete. The famous work of this poet include Fancy, Ode to Grecian Urn, to Lord Byron, Les Belles Dames sans Mercy, Ode to On Melancholy, Ode to Nightingale, To Sleep, On Seeing the Elegant Marbles. The central idea of the poem includes that life is critical, but Song of Nightingale is not, and Ode to Nightingale is its appreciation. It is also about hard life's experience of the poet. It is a journey from real world to the world of imagination. The poet escapes to the world of Nightingale. He finds imaginative world more peaceful and harmonious than the real world. However, he is alone there too. Ultimately, he returns with the lesson that escape is possibly only with death. Ode to Nightingale is not only about critical life and appreciation of Nightingale's song, but also an expression of feelings and emotions. Stanza to stanza, poet's thought develops. His mood changes and he expresses his emotion. John Keats in Ode to Nightingale makes a comparison between several things. Some of them are art and life, mortality and immortality, imagination and reality, world of mankind and world of Nightingale, natural beauty and artificiality, pleasure and pain, and the last one is life and death. So we conclude our topic with that the lines of poem passionately describe the misfortune and sorrows attached to human life. Indeed, the world is filled with sickness, weariness, lost hope, and human suffering is general. Ode to Nightingale is a touching expression of death because Keats wrote it when he was struggling with an overwhelming sense of life's tragedy. He also appeared to be pessimistic, expressing his own impending death. Nothing that everyone around him that he loves was dying. So that's all in this video. Guys, if you like my video, please subscribe my channel. So see you in the next video. Allah Hafiz.